Chelsea Football Club's appointment of Enzo Maresca, I'm starting to understand why. The press conference after the game, not only did he call Noni Mudryk out, not only did he give us analysis about Mikel Mudryk and how he just needs to improve and where he needs to improve. Honestly, managers are never this transparent, never this honest. He called out the squad and basically told them, these are my rules. If you don't follow them, you're out. He gave us an update on Cole Palmer. He gave us an update on Joao Felix and Pedro Neto. And then we've got a whole host of transfer news. Not only has Raheem Sterling got 3 clubs looking at him, and we've got the clubs that they are, we've got John Obi Mikel all of a sudden changing his whole tune. 1 minute John Obi Mikel is anti the ownership, and now John Obi Mikel is saying Paul Winstanley's got a good heart and loves the club. Why is he doing this? We will be speculating. And finally, Kepa for Balaga. Everybody thought, you know what, a la Madrid, he's going to Vamos a la Madrid. Nope. It looks like he's going to sunny Bournemouth gig. The water's not as warm as it is in Spain, but you know what? The beaches are beautiful. Let's talk about it. But before we get started, I need a massive favor. Listen, you lot watch me on a consistent basis because I can see how many of you return. Hitting the like button is mandatory, and the more likes you hit, the more it grows, the more YouTube pushes it to the other people. And for those of you that are new, we've got a great community here, so subscribe and let's continue building this amazing community where we will be spreading positivity, but realism comes in whenever it's needed. So let's get started with the videos. I'm going to cover the press conference first because I think it's the most important part. Then we'll get into the transfer news, and then I'll send you away for your weekend. Here we go. Bratuchi, for those of you that know me, you know I work very hard on this channel. So I really appreciate when the manager demands that from the team that I cover. And the reality is, what Enzo Maresca said was wonderful. He sat in his press conference and said, look, I want people to work hard, and I want them to expect that they need to work not only hard on match days, they need to work hard every day in training. There needs to be competition. And it doesn't mean if you play on Sunday, it means you're definitely playing on Thursday. No. If you don't train well from Monday to Thursday, you're not playing well and not playing in general on Thursday. And for me, that is the attitude that we need to get. That's the attitude that Manchester City have with Pep Guardiola. That is the attitude Mikel Arteta has at Arsenal. And for those of you that are going to say Arsenal haven't won anything, I get that. But guess what? Arsenal have had 2 back-to-back seasons where they've competed for the league. And on any other year, they most probably would have won it unless they were going out against the generational side. So what we need to do is close the gap on them, then worry about City. And the reality is, we need to get that kind of ethos back at Chelsea because I feel like we've lost it in recent times. And Enzo Maresca publicly laying down that gauntlet, I love it. The next thing that he said that absolutely shocked me was his stance on Noni Mudryk. Look, a lot of people said, why is Noni not starting? Why did Noni not start the first game of the season? Why did Noni not start yesterday? And I was one of those that sat there and said, yo, this doesn't make sense to me. They're either forcing him out the club or something happened. I assumed Blue Co's just trying to make some profit. No, he's come out and said, Noni Mudryk needs to train harder and he'll play. He needs to train well and he will get the minute. I need to see consistency for him, not only in games, but in training. And after he's publicly called all of them out, this really explains everything that we need to see. He reiterated this point on 3 occasions. It is evident, and I've said this on many occasions before, Noni Mudryk is a better player when he commits himself on the defensive end. Compare our wingers to Manchester City, to Real Madrid, to Arsenal. They don't put in half the effort on the defensive end, and we're nowhere near as good as those teams at this moment in time. So why do we think our wingers shouldn't put in the effort? And the fact that he's called Noni out is brilliant. Then he went on to say he wants Noni to stay. He really likes the player. And yes, he also reiterated, but the window's open and we never know. And the reason he said that is because if a bid of 45 to 50, 60 million comes in, Blue Co will accept. Because Noni next year might be surplus to requirements. When Esteval comes in, it's going to be his position plus Pedro Neto. That is the truth. People aren't going to like it, but that's the reality. Unless Noni takes few jumps where he becomes undroppable, that is the plan. Yet, he likes the player, and I hope the player stays. I hope we somehow find a way to move Mudryk, and we find a way to move Raheem Sterling out. What Enzo Maresca said about Mikel Mudryk was wonderful. And a lot of you are going to say, Alex, you're exaggerating. It's not. Honestly, it's so worth the wait and listen. And if you get an opportunity to go watch the press conference yourself after I cover it, go do it. He said, look, Misha Mudryk, I love the way he calls him Misha Mudryk, yeah? He was like, he's got all the ability. The problem is the decision making. It's nothing to do with his technical aspect. It's about knowing what to do. We'll get him the ball. And it's a matter of him executing in that final third. This has happened to him his whole Chelsea career. He's had good moments and he's had a lot of bad moments. He needs to get consistency. Isn't this what I say on this channel on a weekly basis? He says he needs to make better decisions in the final third. Once he starts making these decisions, he will get more game time and he'll go get more minutes. And the reality is, we need to get that out of him. When he said we need to get that out of him, we will help him. I love this because a lot of footballers don't hear this. What he said to him is constructive criticism. A lot of people, when they're that rich, when they're that young, and they're that talented, they don't hear that. They only hear how good you are. He's called him out publicly. He's explained to him why he won't be playing. And he's also said to him what he needs to do to get better, and I'm going to help. I love it. This is the type of treatment I want from my manager. Public, explosive, explicit, tells you exactly what you need. Chelsea Twitter started going into a meltdown yesterday. I got into a little bit of a panic because Cole Palmer walked down and apparently started grabbing on his hamstring and people got panicky. Enzo Maresca said there's no problems. He's already been checked. He should be fine for the Wolves game. Thank God, because the reality is, we cannot have an injury to Cole Palmer. He is our best player. He's our creative outlet. And we need him to push on to that third place that I believe we can finish. We've got a great squad. We need to stick together and we need to move on. Two other players that he spoke about regarding first team minutes. He said Joao Felix is physically ready. However, it's tactically and it's about setting him up in the right manner. He can play in the 9, he can play on the left, and he can play in the 10. The reality is we are going to need Joao Felix. People aren't going to like it, people are going to moan, but we are going to need Joao Felix. He is going to be one of our better players. He is an upgrade on Raheem Sterling, he's an upgrade on Noni, he is an upgrade on Mudryk. That is the truth. Pedro Neto as well, he said he hasn't finished a 90-minute game since February, so it was a matter of reintegrating him slowly and making sure he recovers physically. Listen, we have got options, and I'm going to reiterate this one last time. Noni Mudryk, Sterling, those are the three. Two of them need to go. Whether it's loans, whether it's sales. I think we're going to get rid of Sterling and then they're going to try move on. Because I would keep personally Noni, Neto, Felix, Nkunku and Palmer. George can be the backup as the 6th choice if there's an injury. And all of a sudden you've got 3 positions, 5 choices with a youngster. Minutes, everyone's sharp, there's competition, we train hard, they get in a team, you don't play well, you get rotated. This is what we should be building, this kind of encouragement, this type of competition, not just having 7 players for 3 positions. That's silly, that's just my opinion. Now we need to talk about Raheem Sterling. So Raheem Sterling apparently has started discussions with Aston Villa according to the Times, and the Times is reporting that early discussions have occurred. Then we had Sammy Mokbel come out with 3 clubs that are actively looking on taking Raheem Sterling on loan. The 3 clubs are as follows. Number 1 is Crystal Palace. This makes sense. Crystal Palace were looking at bringing back Wilfried Zaha. They most probably think Raheem Sterling is an upgrade, which I agree. And more importantly, they've got money. They've sold Anderson, they've sold Alise, and now they've got wages and money to integrate the player in. He would stay in London. This would be a good move for Raheem Sterling. The second option would be Aston Villa. Aston Villa are eager to add after they've lost Bailey and they've moved in on to Saudi Arabia. They are keen to add a winger to the team, which actually makes sense. Unai Emery wanted Joao Felix, didn't get Joao Felix. Raheem Sterling, Bailey and Watkins sounds like something Emery would adore. They've got effort and they've got counter-attack and press, and more importantly, they're just very, very quick players that are going to be able to eat up ground at a very rapid rate if you buy in. They are all very competent footballers. I don't know whether Raheem Sterling would buy in as he once did at Manchester City, because we're seeing he's struggling to buy in at Chelsea. but it is what it is. He's a very good footballer. He just doesn't suit Chelsea at the moment. And finally, the last club that's looking at him is Juventus. But Juventus are also looking at Jadon Sancho, so it's just an encouragement whether what Motta would like. Personally, if it's Sancho over Sterling, I would be going after Sancho. I think Sancho's got tremendous talent. I think Sancho is younger. Sancho is someone you can mold. Sancho is somebody that would suit the Serie A league like amazingly, like a foot to a leg. Like, he would be absolutely amazing there. So this is the latest news. We don't have any more updates. We're going to have to wait. One more piece of news before we get into John Obi Mikel and Mikel's lovely comments, because he's such a nice man when it comes to Chelsea Football Club these days. We are going to talk about Kepa Arrizabalaga. Everybody has been convinced he's going to Real Madrid. Everybody has believed that once Lunin leaves, he'll go to Real Madrid. However, it looks like Lunin's not going anywhere. It looks like Lunin's going to see out the final year of his contract, and Kepa now is left in no man's land. And the reality is, Kepa Arrizabalaga looks set to have talks with Bournemouth. David Ornstein has released that Bournemouth are eager to talk to Chelsea about Kepa Arrizabalaga and also to Arsenal regarding Aaron Ramsdale. It looks like they want to upgrade on Neto in goal, and this makes sense. Whether Kepa would be interesting to go there and whether Bournemouth have the financial capabilities to pay his wages is an interesting one, but everything's gone very quiet in regards to Kepa Arrizabalaga. So it's very nice to hear that something's happening in the background from somebody as reliable as David Ornstein. The final story is regarding the former Nigeria captain. It's John Obi Mikel, the cult hero at Chelsea, somebody that, in my opinion, as time's gone on, history's been very kind to. I remember when I was younger, Mikel used to get a lot of abuse from Chelsea fans. It was to the point where they weren't happy. Oh, he doesn't do much. He's just very simple. He just keeps the ball ticking. What does he offer? That was a very good discussion among my friendship group, and other football fans that I've spoken to. But you know what? As time's gone on, people have been very generous in how they remember John Obi Mikel. They remember him as the multiple-time Premier League winner, the Champions League winner, the Europa League winner, the captain of Nigeria, someone that is very accomplished within the game. As he's transitioned from football and gone into podcasting, Mikel's had very good interviews. That's one thing I can say. He's got a lot of ex-pros that are Chelsea players. He's got Victor Osimhen, could be a potential future player. And he's very vocal. That's the one thing I will give Mikel, right? He's very explicit in what he says and says it with his heart. Like, he actively tells you what he thinks. He doesn't bite his tongue. So now, all of a sudden, a week ago, he was on BN Sport, if I'm not mistaken, and he had nothing short of a rant. If it was on this channel, you lot would be cooking me. But Mikel said it, so it's fine. And Mikel absolutely did not accept that Chelsea lost to Manchester City, and he called out the board, he called out everyone. But then on the Obi-Wan podcast this week, he's gone out and said he's travelled to London, he's spoken to Paul Winstanley, and he believes he's walked away with it with very positive thoughts. He believes Paul Winstanley has a good heart, he's a good person, he cares about the club and wants to win. So now, the reality is, what was said to Mikel that made him in 1 week completely do a U-turn on this ownership group and these sporting directors? Because 1 week ago, we're rubbish. This team's not going to finish in seventh. He's absolutely negative. We're accepting mediocrity. One conversation, and all of a sudden, oh no, our place is in a good heart. This is why I say we need to be very careful with who we listen to on what platform. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they told him, listen, we're trying to get Victor Osimhen. Stop it, right? Or if you want to have any future business with the club, you need to stop doing what you're doing. It is becoming very disruptive. It is interesting. I think Mikel should keep speaking his mind. Even though I don't agree with him, I'm very big on ex-footballers that speak their mind. I hate nothing more than when they sit there and they get paid and they just be nicey, nicey, nice. No, I need you lot to be what we see in America, what we see on First Take, what we see on First Things First, what we used to see on Undisputed. I need people speaking their minds. I need people to give us maybe some sort of analysis, which we don't get on no show, but with opinion and personality. So it is what it is. Guys, hit the like button. Like I said, the more you lot hit the like button, the more we hit 1,000 likes, the better the videos do. Listen, by the way, right here is the review from yesterday's game against Napkin FC. So let me know what you lot think. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.